Hey guys, it's me. I guess starting with you guys. That's too bad, Alexis. Bureaucracy, WSU things, people being incompetent. I'm in the kitchen. Look, it's the refrigerator full of family things. So yeah, that didn't. It was supposed to be, starting out with you guys, and then it kind of was, and then it went back to the kitchen. But yay, starting sub things in orientation. I want to hear stories about that so we can compare notes on what our orientations were like. Because mine was mostly like middle-aged people doing skits pretending to be really bad students, and it was hilarious. It was wonderful. And Becky, yay, driver's test. I don't remember if you said you were going to be doing that today or like this weekend or just soon, but I wish you the best on that. You can do it. I believe in you. And then you'll be able to drive places, and it'll be awesome. And yeah, I mean, I think we kind of knew that you weren't specifically talking about us as far as like smart shaming, but that's just kind of how, I don't know, how it affects us, kind of. I was reading something about smart shaming on, I don't know, some feminist blog. I think I was looking up, like, I don't know what it was, something, I went from like gaming to like culture to like feminism really fast in like 2 links, and then I was just like stuck in feminist blog world for a while. But it was interesting, and one of them was basically that women are, like, more women are going to college, and like more women are like getting really smart and have all these degrees and stuff, so more and more for men it's like becoming like the masculine thing is, I'm using like quotes when I say like feminine and masculine. It's like the more women are like encouraged to be smart, the more men are like, ooh, girl thing. Well, I guess I better, because you don't want to be feminine, because then that would be like weak, because being girl is bad. So a lot of men are becoming like dumber by choice, and society's kind of encouraging it. And I forgot what they were using as evidence for that specifically. I think it was like something in like grade school. It wasn't like adults, it was like children, and it was something to do with like their test scores. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, so I don't know, something like that. But it reminded me something else that was kind of like smart shaming, and I want to say it was something to do with like communism and the Red Scare, and like communists being educated or something. I don't remember. That doesn't sound right. Something about it doesn't sound right. Anyway, so something about that. So yeah, when girls become smart, then it becomes not cool to be smart, because it's kind of that, I don't know, sort of misogynistic, part of society that you don't really see a lot, because, people are not misogynistic really anymore. They can help it, but only on the outside. It's that undercurrent, like that hidden racism, that hidden misogyny that you really gotta watch out for. So, I really wish I could remember what the hell they were talking about in that study they were thinking about. Anyway, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, so I did my first, like, why can't I remember the word? Like volunteer thing over at the museum. And it's really cool, because it's like, I don't know, it's, if it were like any other sort of, I don't know, like instead of just like me going to be like, hey, I want to volunteer for you, I would say like the level of work that could be involved in this, it would be like more like an internship. Because I'm getting to know like the museum software. It's called Past Perfect, and you can like input like a whole bunch of stuff, like if it's an art piece, then you can do like the title and the dimensions and the medium and notes about like its history and like what era it was painted in and blah 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 blah, and you can do that for like physical objects and books and archives, and it just goes on and on. So getting used to that, and like my first project Friday, most of Friday and part of today was just going through the back room and just getting a list of all the things that are sort of just hanging around the back room, and she didn't know what they were. She's like, we just have stuff. And you go in this back room, and it's kind of, I don't know, kind of like this back room behind her office, behind like the main display area, and just go in, and they're like, I don't know, canvases wrapped up everywhere. There's like a canoe like strapped to the ceiling. There's like ducks everywhere, not live ducks, but like stuffed ones. You know, like native art is like coming out of other dimensions to take up space, and it's just totally crowded. She's like, actually, this is a lot better. When I got here, there was stuff like all over the floor, and it was horrible. So I only really had to get down the info for like 30 some objects, and some of them were kind of boring, because it went from like this little like stack of old receipts and stuff, and they were kind of cool because it was obviously they were really old, so they're probably from like the early 20th century, maybe like late 19th. But it was just like a list, just like receipts. But then some of them were really cool. Like, I want to send you the pictures of this thing, but it was just like this box from the 18... I might be thinking of a different item, but it was from the 18-somethings. I want to say like 1850 or 80s. I'm thinking of two boxed objects, but one of them, it has like iron worker on the side. It's kind of illustrated, and you open it up, and there's just this collection of all of these small glass stoppered bottles, and they all have like different kind of medicines in them, and you like pull out the bottles, and the medicines are like still in there, and you probably would not want to eat any of them because they probably all have lead or stuff in them, but it's really cool. And then there was another one that I've kind of been looking up and doing research on, but it's like a magneto-electric machine or something like that for nervous disorders. It's like electrotherapy, and it's really cool. And there were like two objects that I thought were shell casings, but they're the things that you like grip on when you like crank the little thing and it like shocks you. So there's some kind of cool stuff back there. I don't know if the museum would end up keeping them, because it doesn't really have anything to do with Alaska, really. It's just like an electroshock thing, and it's not really in that good a condition. So did all that, put it all in an Excel spreadsheet, and then the lady that I'm working for, she wants to get like a committee together to figure out what they want to keep and what they don't want to keep. But I'm going to be going back on Tuesday, and then I'm going to be starting sort of basically just research, because there are a lot of items in the collection that they really don't know anything about. Like, I was looking through when I was trying to find out like if the items kind of in the back were in the database already, and it's kind of hard to search for some of them, because some of them are just like, it's just like a rock, and if you put in rock you get like 100 bajillion search answers. It's like, I don't know how else to search for this. But then like you're sort of going through and looking at the different rocks, and it's like, well, is it any of these? And some of them, there was one, it was literally just a picture of like a little stone, like maybe this big. It was kind of smooth and whitish. And the only thing it said was like smooth, round rock, no history known. So my job would be to like go look at this rock, take a picture or two, and then do research and try to figure out what the deal is with that rock. So some of it's going to be really boring, like that, like I really don't know where to start with that. Besides like maybe taking it to, I don't know, some cultural elders around and seeing like, do any of your tribes use these small rocks for anything? So, some internet, some interviews, some book research. But some of the items are, bigger and easier to research, so that's going to be kind of cool and kind of fun. So it's nice, because it's just like history and like in-depth archives research, which is like basically what I want to do. I mean, it's more the kind of artsy cultural object museum part of it, which is not what my first option would be. My first option would be more just like books and texts and that kind of library end of it, but this is also very cool and something that I kind of know how to do. So that's fun. Also very, I don't know, just kind of a lot of work too, because it's not a small collection, and there are a lot of items that they just don't have a lot of history on. So yeah, so that's what I mean when I say it could be more like an internship than just like volunteer work. but it's really nice. It's kind of like exactly the kind of thing that I want to be doing as far as like it's the perfect sort of figuring out if this is the kind of line of work that I want to do, and so far I'm having a lot of fun. It's really interesting. And I like that sense of satisfaction you get when you know you're kind of taking things that don't have a place and you're fitting them into their proper little slot in the universe, and you know that everything is just a little bit more organized. You can go to bed like, I organized that. Yeah. So that's nice. It's a shame that, at least surface level, this would not have as much weight as far as like school applications as like just shelving books in a library would. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that schools would be more like, oh, well, I mean, at least you know how to shelve books. I mean, that's really what this degree isn't, so it's good that you have that volunteer experience, you know, as well. But I've been busy with GRE stuff and school research, and now this, and I want to start doing library volunteer work. And listening to Alexa talk about substituting, I remember that I haven't actually finished my application for substitute work, so I need to do that, and then I need to figure out a way to kind of juggle everything and make it work. Because kind of like, I don't really need to do substitute work, but I do if I want money, and I do want money. And I really want to do the museum stuff, but the schools probably would rather me do the library stuff, which isn't as useful to me as far as gaining experience for the degree I want, which is more useful after I get accepted, but not before. It doesn't really make sense. I guess it makes sense if you're like the admissions people to these schools. Yay. But actually, like, the school that really needed that experience, I'm not going to be applying to, because I'm not going to have a year's worth of experience by the time I apply to it. And, yeah. So right now it's just kind of, because it's really cool, and I know how to do it. So that's kind of neat. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. The lady there got her background's in art, so she's there. She does the like modern art exhibits. She does the museum part of it. She takes care of the collection. She like makes sure everything's kind of on display, you know, not, you know, breaking or anything. So she kind of does everything, and it really should be more than one position, but it isn't. So she's really glad that I'm there, and it's nice. I got a tour of the place on my first day, and she showed me like their back room where it's like, you know, any kind of back room in a real museum. I say real museum like it isn't a real museum. I don't think of it that way because I'm so used to it just being like the cultural and visitor center where the tourists go and they need a map. But you know, it is a museum too. But you go in and it's just like shelves up to the ceiling and just shelves everywhere, and you can pull them out and there's like arrowheads everywhere, and there's stuffed animals everywhere and dead things and fossils, and it's awesome. And she's like, yeah, it is pretty neat. It's kind of unfortunate this room is, you know, there's a water main up on the ceiling, and it's probably not the best place for it. It's like, yeah, probably not. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Fun stuff I need to do. Yeah, basically, because, let me see, like, substituting, like, every time, sort of like, yeah, I need to do it, yeah, I want money, yeah, then I think, like, oh, I'd have to spend all day in front of a, you know, classroom full of children, and I was thinking about it, you know, I was talking to my grandmother about why, you know, Halloween sucks, and it's just children, wave after wave of